Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We're doing it a little bit different this morning. We're doing a FIG Team Firefighting Takeover. My name is Ella. I'm going to be your host this morning. I'm filling in for Veronica, so I've got some big shoes to fill, to say the least. I am the Director of Expansion and Content Strategy for the FIG team. And our amazing special guest this morning is Agent Onboarding Specialist for the FIG team, Ambré Guest. Welcome. Thank you so much for being on here this morning with me. I'm so grateful to have you on. It's making me feel a little bit more comfortable this morning than normal. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So Amber is going to get started in just a minute, but just a little bit about her and her background before. Amber has an extensive knowledge in real estate, and she has just been an incredible asset to the team. We're so grateful to have you on. And if you want to take it from here, just let us know a little bit about your background, where you went to school, what you studied, and then we'll get into your career in real estate.
Awesome. So thanks for having me today. I'm super excited. A little bit about me. My name is Ambré Guest. I got my degree in psychology and never had any intentions of selling real estate or doing anything real estate related. But luckily, I kind of fell into the real estate industry back in 2006 on the administrative side and office management side. I learned everything. I mean, back when like MLS was in books, in the binders. So quickly, my broker said, you know what, why don't you become a realtor? And I said, nah, not really interested in that. I'm going to be a psychologist. I'm going to go all the way to my PhD. And she said, well, you have no idea how much psychology is involved in real estate. And that really opened up my entire career for me. So I'm so thankful for that broker way back then. And so I got my license in 2012 and enjoyed being Rookie of the Year where I was, and enjoyed selling to a lot of military families. I was in a military town, so I was very familiar with the military families there. And then moved to Orlando in 2014, where I was a little fish in a big pond here. So that's where I learned the dynamics of teams and building teams. And I started my own team with a partner back in 2015. And then the doors opened up for coaching for me in 2016. And that's where my degree and my passions combined with what I was making money at. So 7 years later, what is it? 2016 to 2022. I've had the great joy of coaching brokerages, helping to build coaching programs. I've helped to coach agents on an individual basis, from newbie agents all the way to top producers. My passion really is coaching teams and the different dynamics and personalities of leadership and agents, and who succeeds best where. And last year, at the end of last year, I got the great joy of joining the Figueroa team, which really combined my passion and who I am with my career on a more personal level and who I am. And so I get to function in what like Veronica calls your superpower and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, that's amazing. And so you mentioned that psychology, your degree, does have a lot to do with real estate. Can you kind of explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so in real estate, we're talking about people who are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you're also talking about several different types of people from all walks of life. So if you chunk that down into what I do in working with realtors and hiring and coaching, putting people in the right place on the bus is really important. So there's not just sales in real estate. That's not the only way to make money in real estate. There's all kinds of different positions, different ways to function in real estate. There's creative side, there's sales side, there's administrative side, there's operations side. There's people who love data and can function and contribute to real estate in that capacity.
Yeah, that's so true. This is my first time being in the real estate industry. So, well, not first time. It's, so I've been in the industry for 1.5 years now, but I'm in the marketing side. So you don't know, there's so much that goes into a team. There's so much that goes into real estate, not just what you see on Selling Sunset, for example, so there's a lot more to it. And you recently just went through a training for something that we've been utilizing called the Culture Index, which is essentially a personality test, so to speak. Could you kind of dive into that a little bit for us?
Yeah, I wish I knew what title to give it. It's so much more than just a personality assessment. So it digs into the dynamics of how your different areas of your own personality function and move the other bits of your personality. So, we have experiences, as a child, there's nature and nurture, there's things like that. And that grows and develops a person into who they are today. So what we use the Culture Index for is hiring to people's superpower, making sure that we're putting the right people in the right place. So everybody in our company has gone through the Culture Index. It's helped me to understand who I am more so. And then going through this class yesterday, I know that I can do agents so much more justice in hiring them and putting them in the right place. So with that being said, a lot of the social aspects do great in real estate, but we can't negate the fact that, people who are more of a checklist kind of person, that they won't do well. So it really gives us a data point to go by, and then we meet with the agent and we get a feel for them and make sure that, they're exuding the integrity and the culture that they say that they're exuding in their, in their resumes and whatnot.
Right. And as you can see, the title of today's episode is Mindset and Culture. So that has a lot to do with it too. It helps you kind of dive into the mindset of somebody and their personality, in their personal life and at work, and especially if it's going to be a good fit for the culture too, because that's super important. And for me, I know I probably took mine. They joke with me all the time that I took mine like 12 times and it was always the exact same personality popped up. So you definitely can't cheat the system, so to speak. It's pretty accurate, I would have to say, but it's a great way to see how other people function in their profession, in their title, their role, however you want to call it. And you definitely get to see who's a good fit for what position, whether it's on the team, whether it's in sales, and you could be pleasantly surprised on somebody you might think might not be a good fit for it, but then in turn, they're actually an amazing fit for the role that you were probably least expecting sometimes. So it's really nice to see the variety and how it really has a huge effect in terms of recruiting and mindset and culture for a team.
Yeah, it's really huge. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so what are you looking for with mindset and culture in leadership and when you're hiring an agent for the team?
So in looking at agents, and specifically for the Figueroa team, we're looking for people who have high levels of integrity, high levels of drive, meaning that, they're going to be resilient. They're going to pick up the phone and continue doing what it is, the activities that are going to breed the results that they came to us saying they want to breed. So in mindset, we're looking for people who take a posture of being coachable, right? They take a posture of asking questions as well as taking the initiative to follow through if they can't get in touch with a coach, So we're looking for that culture of collaboration and that culture of helping other agents. We have a very well-oiled machine. And we did that based on hiring the right people and putting them in the right places. So the people that put our systems together, that's their superpower, Right. So we want to make sure that we're hiring the agents that understand what their superpower is, and they're okay in that superpower. Make sense? And they're okay saying, hey, listen, I need to learn more here. And hey, Chase, Harold, Amber, whomever on the team, one of the three-headed monster, the coaches, reaching out to us and asking us the questions and learning. It's really huge in being coachable and being, even if you've been in the industry for a long time, because we don't just hire newbie agents. We love the agent that's going to go, you know what? I don't want to run everything on my own. I want to be able to just sell real estate. Well, we're a great fit for you. you know?
Right.
So we're looking for the people who are willing to get out there and do the work day in and day out.
Right. No, absolutely. And let me ask you, why is it important to have a growth mindset in the real estate industry?
I'll be
Regardless
honest
of
with you.
regardless of wherever you are on a team, if you're staff or if you're actually in production.
You got to think about it. In real estate, there's such a great need on so many levels. So people need to get their financing done. People need to get in a home. People, need their property marketed properly. There's a lot of needs that need to be met. So mindset is. I'm sorry. Go ask me that question again. I
You're
lost
fine.
where I was going.
Right. So why is having a growth mindset important to somebody in the real estate industry?
Because this industry will suck the life out of you. Plain and simple. If you don't take a posture of growing yourself, I know it's the truth. You ask any realtor, if you don't take a posture of growing yourself and understanding who you are as an individual, growing into, it takes 10,000 hours to master something, choosing something and growing into it. And then also changing with the times in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So having a growth mindset is not just about who you are as an individual, it's about growing with the rest of the industry and growing with your team.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, it's really easy to get left behind. It's really easy to lose the love for the industry and pretty much work yourself out of it. So because the industry is ever growing and ever evolving, we in the industry, regardless whether you're a realtor, you're creative, you're, in operations, constantly having a growth mindset is going to keep you in the forefront and running with the big dogs, really.
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that a lot too. Obviously, I'm in marketing and social media, communications, all that stuff. So for me, just in general, social media, marketing, algorithms of platforms that we use for social media, they're constantly changing as well. So it's nice that we're ever evolving as a team, as individuals too, and in our professions, right? So something that I was listening to yesterday from Gary Vee, he said, changing your mind is the ultimate strength. So, you might be all in with something and, but at the same time, it's nice to be able to step back and look at something through a wider lens, see the bigger picture, not necessarily having so much. And for me, this is very hard because my emotion, and my culture index will say this, that I lead by emotion. So not being as emotionally attached to the outcome or the process per se, because everything's ever evolving, it's ever changing. And that's super important piece of the puzzle to growth mindset, because you want to be able to pivot and be on your toes. And it's okay to embrace change, embrace, movement and, flow within the industry.
Right. Yeah, I don't think anybody is ever going to be able to know everything about the industry. And I think everything changes so much. You have to continue that growth, right? You have to be able to encompass where things are going. And part of that growth is understanding your personality and staying, in those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge growth, realizing that I can't do everything. My culture index, I lead more logically. So I have to remember to be a little bit more sensitive with the people. And it started out with customers. Mm-hmm. And then it went into agents, and so growing in that capacity, like, I just didn't understand, why couldn't they check their emotions at the door? So I had to grow within myself to realize that, hey, everybody is not the way I am. And that was growth for me. And I constantly have to do that with what I do with coaching, is just remember that I have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Right. Mm-hmm. So I have to listen and all that kind of stuff. So that's a big growth space for me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely eye opener going into the culture index, learning more about yourself. But again, I think that's such a huge part of being able to grow as an individual and in your profession, and really getting you to the next step in your career, 100%. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this month is Women's History Month, correct? And it was on Tuesday, the 8th, was International Women's Day. So we put on a little celebration for the women of FIG team. And so for those of you that might not know a little bit about me, my background, I am also a yoga instructor. I've been a yoga instructor since 2015. So I like to incorporate that into, health and wellness into our team and, with people around me. And so we put on a little celebration where I taught yoga. We did a little meditation and ended with a little manifestation session. And it was really amazing because it was beautiful to see women coming together, supporting each other, just having the safe space that we've really been able to build here with our team at the office here at the Expansion Hub. And everyone was able to open up and kind of dive deep into places that they want to grow, where their mindset is. And especially during the manifestation portion of it, it was beautiful to see what they were manifesting about, and then they explained why they chose that, maybe a struggle here and there that they were experiencing. So it was really nice to see everyone's mindset. And it could have been somebody that had been on the team for a long time, had been in the industry for a while, and then people that are babies in the industry. So that was really, really nice to see. And someone's story that I thought was so beautiful to share, no matter what age you are, no matter what stage of life you're in. For example, you have kids, if you don't have kids, you're brand new out of school, it's so important to have those moments where you can share and support one another, because mindset is so important. Having that work-life balance, you don't want to run yourself ragged in this industry. Even though I haven't been in here for that long in this industry, I can see the toll that it takes on some individuals. And I'm sure with your background in psychology too, you're hyper aware of how important mindset is.
Yeah. I know people really focus in on like having that work home life balance. But I like to refer to it more of like a counterbalance, simply because like you have no balance without that counterbalance. Again, that's me thinking logically, right? So
Right.
in knowing that it's super important to get away, like you're saying, do, meditation, yoga, some sort of exercise that completely takes you away from your work. So that counterbalance is huge. And the women that showed up for that, they were ready. I saw the pictures, and you brought them through their meditation and yoga, bit of manifestation. You can see them light up from the inside. They're bringing some counterbalance and taking the stress off of their mind.
Yeah. And it's important to take care of yourself at the end of the day. And because if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of the others that you're saying you're trying to support? I mean, I know a bunch of the ladies said that, they wanted to get to a certain place financially or, physically, health-wise, to be able to take care of their family or maybe future families. That's something that I manifested about. That's super important to me. And so it's just really important to remember that, you got to take care of yourself first to be able to then help others, to be able to achieve those goals that you want to attain, and to be able to help yourself, to be able to help others in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a quick question. If you had maybe one book that you would suggest to everyone listening, tuning in here this morning, it could be, I would say, give us one book that you would suggest if you are new to real estate, and then one personal book that somebody could read for self-growth.
Okay, so if you're new to real estate, absolutely the Miracle Mindset for Realtors, because that's really going to set your mind in the morning. It's going to establish your day. It's going to build those healthy habits. I read it way back in the day, and I've kind of built off of it. So that's a book for newbie agents. For everyone, I would always suggest the book Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. It's regardless of whether you're working on your career or your personal life, boundaries are huge. So having boundaries with yourself, with your career, with your significant other, with whatever spiritual life you have, your different communities and whatnot. And I think having a foundation of healthy boundaries helps you to live. Freedom is within boundaries. So that's going to be the foundation for everything, career, personal, everything. And then just getting started, the Miracle Morning for Realtors.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
So speaking of boundaries, why are those so important for you as a leader?
You know, you lead by example, you
Mhm.
know, and like I put it on social media here recently, and great leaders show you how it's done. You know, we've been able to see our leader, Veronica, establish some incredible boundaries in her life. And it's not just freedom for her, it's freedom for her whole organization, right?
Yeah.
So freedom is within boundaries. And me being a leader, I'm pouring out, right? You're pouring out. And all the leaders are pouring out to other people. But if you don't understand your own personal boundaries, you end up pouring out more than what you actually have to give. And then that's not really a justice to the people you're leading, right?
Right.
So you're not leading by example, and then you're giving more than what you should. So those things are super important for a leader in not just the leadership aspect, but in the agent seeing that you know when to say no, you know when to say yes,
Right.
and building a team of people off of that is really, really important.
Yeah. And again, like you were going into there, it's a disservice to your team as a leader. And we do see everybody on our team as a leader. So whether we're talking about somebody in actual leadership or whether you're an agent on the team, everyone is a leader in their own right. But it is
Yeah.
a disservice when you're not, to them and to yourself, with not having clear boundaries that are set. And it also, like you're saying, leading by example, it shows, especially maybe somebody that's new to real estate, setting boundaries for when you're making outbound calls, setting boundaries when you're, you're making your schedule, setting up your calendar, and just giving yourself a little bit more of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the word that I'm thinking of,
It's
but it
okay.
just it gives you more structure. That's the word I was looking
Yes.
for. It gives them structure, and it shows them like, hey, you can really have it all. Just like, scheduling stuff out, finding the time to like set your boundaries with clients too, because I'm around, we all are fortunate enough to, love the people we work with too, right? And so we hang out with each other
Yeah.
outside of the office, and we're constantly just picking up calls all day long, and we're like, what boundaries have we set with, clients, with team and everything? So it's another way of, another form of love by, setting this example with boundaries, right?
Yes, I love that. So boundaries and accountability are the
Hmm.
highest forms of love. I love that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning, Amber. Again, you are
Thank you.
just a wealth of knowledge. I could absorb, everyone could absorb you like a sponge.
Oh,
So thank you so
thank you.
much for being on here this morning with me. This definitely made my first time as a host much easier than I thought it was going to be. So thank you so much again. And thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in. Any final words before we hop off, Amber?
No, thank you guys for having me, number one. And number two, work on your mindset first and above all, for you, and then everything else will come from that.
Thank you so much. Words from the wise. All right, everybody, have an amazing Friday, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Happy Friday.